go. Rehearsing, quiet.
So you can look down and then you go even closer to the edge. Yeah?
We'll get these barriers back in. Work very carefully in this area here, please.
Hold the water. Quiet, please. Roll sound.
Rain.
This season, we return to these iconic sets. It's just lovely on the first day to walk in and have all these memories flood back. And at the same time, have the challenge of shooting House of the Dragon.
Season 2, we had exterior of the Eyrie, and this season, Ryan thought it would be great for the audience to bring the original Eyrie interior back.
It was very exciting getting to rebuild that iconic set. We haven't really gone back to the well of building an original set from Thrones since season 1.
I took it as it was originally designed. I changed some of the palette a little bit because of the years of difference. I just wanted to darken some of the decoration so it didn't feel edging on the fantasy world.
Jim did a great job at reproducing that center hall.
That was quite a big build, actually, and quite complicated. The treads were all circular. It was like a butterfly staircase effect. They were massive steps.
We all know what that door is in the middle, that moon door.
There was a lot of tension to keeping faith with Game of Thrones in terms of the design.
The moon door, it was just thrilling because I loved those iconic moments in the book, especially when Tyrion has his duel for his trial by combat, and there where Bronn gets to shine for the first time.
That door to the moon is scary to everybody that's seen it before and knows what it's about.
It's such a big deal from Game of Thrones.
The biggest thing that the prop making team needed to do was recreate the big throne. Gavin, our prop maker, actually made the original on the Game of Thrones. So he at least had a head start on what it needed to be.
And then my great long-time friend, Steve Mitchell, painted this fantastic mural, which hadn't existed on the original set. It was the history of the Eyrie and its rugged environment.
Interesting set to think about how to block something because it's so different.
In this.
That's good, yeah.
That here,
yeah.
So I go bang.
How does Daemon talk to Lady Jane? They're so far apart. And it was this circular space. I really wanted to use a circular track because it's quite a sort of odd space and it's a little bit trippy. You wanted to pay homage to that.
So, we're doing checks, we're shooting. Action.
I had thought never to see you in the Vale again, Prince Daemon.
And who could ever fail to be charmed by your warmth?
Cut.
Full rehearsal with camera. So these guys are going to go straight on. Lean, mean, fighting machine, boys, nice and quick.
Tumbleton in episode 4, I wanted to think about what this place was like before. So thought we could have this hare hopping through this field and the camera goes up and reveals the whole of Tumbleton. So we have this really peaceful environment and then we hear,
Keep going!
And then we cut into what's happening.
Background!
Basically, it's sort of the Nazis entering France during the Second World War and taking over this place.
And action!
Go, go, go!
Cut. Great, lovely, thank you.
Look at this place, guys. Oh, and that door is genuinely that heavy. This is the most incredible set I've ever filmed on. I think it's one of the most incredible sets ever built. It's 3/4 of an acre. It is literally a whole town.
It's the biggest set we've ever built. As anybody that's read the book knows that Tumbleton plays a major role, and we wanted to introduce it in a big way here that made it really satisfying.
Right from the very first steel frame that went up for where the gates are, the main gates, you are like 40 odd feet high. It is twice the size of King's Landing. It's big build. A lot of tube, a lot of fittings.
The footprint of the set, it's 75 metres by 140 metres, 4,300 sheets of 18mm plywood, 25,326 metres of 4x2 timber, and then my favourite one is 800,000 screws.
I was thinking, will the details ever stop coming, from the windows to the shutters? One of our biggest challenges is making those roofs in a way that we could just drop them on afterwards.
Taking it up.
Luckily, we start shooting on tomorrow, on Saturday, inside. Actually, inside the weather cover, which is currently leaking.
The waterproofing wasn't great, but it's all right now.
Go for a take now. Appreciate you all being here today, and let's go for one.
Here we go.
Walking onto Tumbleton was an incredible experience because you just suddenly feel like you're in another country.
The brief from Ryan was that we want to make this feel like a sleepy French market town, and that architecturally it should have elements that distinguish it from King's Landing.
Geographically, it needs to feel that we're further south in hotter climes. So we went for a more sort of Mediterranean look than we've done before on some of the other exterior builds.
So we did some research. We went down to Puglia in southern Italy, and those iconic conical-shaped roofs, and I came back and started to draw and model those. They started to look a bit Hobbit-like when we did them, so we've adapted them to our own purpose.
We had lots of conversations about how much it should or shouldn't appear like a fortification, because that's a really important story point. It should feel like somewhere any of us could live.
We got to show it for the first time as the town that it was before it gets occupied by the High Towers.
It's a farming community, it's very parochial. It's very different to King's Landing, which is an urban, buzzy city, and it's beautiful to watch the difference in the costumes.
We wanted it to feel really idyllic in terms of its colour palette. So it's all harvest tones, all cottons and linens.
The people that live there, the work that they do, we like the idea of olive farms.
Nice area here, which is the Claire's olive press area.
Claire Richards did an extraordinary job just dressing it and making it feel like a place where normal people live.
Real piece of stone, shipped all the way from India, fully practical. Having olive pate for lunch.
The new elements that we were creating, I took inspiration from being in Cáceres and Trujillo and the old towns of Rhodes and Greece, where you've got that kind of crumbling of stone, but then you've got all these lovely pockets of details.
Just feel the gravel under your feet and look at the walls around you. You really feel like you can open every single door and go in, and down every alleyway there's details.
It was on such tight time frames that we had to be working in there alongside our construction team, and literally as they finished an area, we were moving into that area and dressing it. There's so much to do there.
What is this?
I remember one scene stepping out and looking around and not seeing a blue screen. You couldn't see anything that could indicate that you weren't in a real town. It was such a special experience for me to be able to immerse myself in such a rich way.
Let's reset, please.
Okay, resetting. Thank you, guys. Resetting.
Half a mark.
I think it's these two lights.
Thanks, guys. Side's clear. Let's start to clear and lock it off. Thanks, everyone.
And action.
Aegon and Larys come across the fallen body of Sunfire, and we weren't able to return to the location where Sunfire actually crashed. So we had to recreate it in our location, Caesar's Camp.
I saw this really great hill that I could see Aegon and Larys walking up, shooting that Steadicam. I really enjoyed seeing the physical effort it took them to get to Sunfire's body before the reveal.
This place has, strangely enough, become a post-apocalyptic tourist attraction.
It's a penny to touch the dragon.
Cut.
Hold it there.
We could do something like this.
Can I see Larys's look back to Tom, please?
A group of settlers had started using Sunfire as a means to make money. Aegon's not happy about that at all. He's not happy at all, really, this season.
Will you get up and live?
Any final checks going straight for this, guys? Thank you.
The space that we had for Sunfire's body, the art department had to create this huge sort of hole in the earth, like a meteor had hit it.
Traditionally, in this show, whenever there's been a dragon or a dragon's head on set, it's always been a blue shape that we see. But because this Sunfire was motionless, we could actually make a full-scale model for Tom to interact with.
That model of Sunfire was spectacular. Even to the texture, to touch him, it was like kind of soft. His skin moved.
We had to figure out what the size of Sunfire would be in the real world, establish a scale, then have the general shape chipped out in polystyrene, and then sculpt over the top of that, mold it. Sunfire is made up of tiny scales, and we had to sculpt them in individually all over the head and neck.
Because it was delicate, it became the baby of the workshop.
Which part of Sunfire is this? A neck. This is part of Sunfire's neck.
We also had to establish a real-world version of Sunfire's colour. How fantastical should that be, or how much more grounded should we make it look?
We had lots of reference for what the scales look like, the texture of him, but also the damage that he received in season 2. Like half of his face is mangled.
The skill to make something as beautifully detailed and as lifelike, it's a gift to be an actor on this kind of set. You don't really have to imagine very much.
And cut. Thank you.
And board.
And
boarding. And board. Well done, everyone. Very good.
Attacking, it's moving. I'm having a look in the direction of the thing that he's looking at.
It was a great sequence when filming Daemon, when he's got some gold from Lady Jane and he's getting on his dragon, and Caraxes is just sort of behaving weirdly.
The dragon is basically saying, I'm going this way. Filming that on the back was fun because Matt was suddenly deciding maybe I can start to fall at this point, and where all of us go, okay, how much of a fall, Matt? Because we've got to make it safe.
And Caraxes takes him and lands in the middle of this lunar landscape in Wales.
We have some certain rules about how to shoot dragons, and one of them is definitely they need to live in this space as if they were real. So the cave where Sheepstealer and Rhaena are hiding, we had to find this high altitude up the mountain cave in our locations in Wales, which became a big challenge because there are none. We take into consideration how tall the dragon is sitting down or standing up, how long is the wingspan.
We could not find a cave that was big enough for Sheepstealer, so we had to create this cave with this sort of V sort of shape in the quarry in the mountains.
We had massive construction up above of blackout, and we were able to get a sense of a cave.
Everyone's on the move. We're staying here with Matt, the drone.
We built these scaffold rig that blacked out inside the cave so that Alejandro was able to light that. The logistics of doing that were very complex, and it was the first thing we shot when we went to Wales. So that was like day one Wales, super complex scene.
It's very complicated because it's a quarry that needs to have a lot of planning and health and safety measurements in place.
We'll get these barriers back in. Work very carefully in this area here, please.
Right, wide shots. Here we go.
It was nice to be out in Wales. I think the show really responds well to great scale and those vistas.
And the dramatic weight of the scene is them hiding in a cave. So we made a whole plan with VFX. We decided Sheepstealer could actually crawl into that cave.
The scale of that rock opening was huge. You know, we're talking Welsh mountains. It just gave the directors really beautiful wide shots that we otherwise wouldn't get on a set.
We really wanted Rhaena to be lit by fire, so the first time we see her, it's Sheepstealer blown fire behind her, so she's in silhouette.
So there was like all kinds of light effects, SFX included, because we needed dragon breath coming out. We needed some practical effects for the cave.
Quiet, please. Roll sound.
Tricky thing with that scene was that it's a really intimate father-daughter moment. You don't want to overshadow that emotional beat with these huge dragons. So a lot of the work with Claire was about blocking.
Yeah, keep coming towards me.
And then around here, I do that.
We push in a little bit.
Yeah.
How do we shoot the scene so dragons aren't sticking their big heads into the back of this really intimate conversation?
It's sort of tragic. This scene is a really emotional scene. And it's really wonderful to see this softer side of Daemon.
Cut. Great, lovely, thanks.
It was so interesting when Ryan said, did I want to do episodes 2, 3, and 4? It didn't dawn on me immediately the huge responsibility that is in terms of viewers and really making 3 films. When I read those 3 scripts, I mean, I just loved them because they were so rich with character development, which is what I really, truly love. I love working with the actors. They bring so much to the stories.
Perfect, yeah.
My favorite thing about this season was we get to shoot back-to-back episodes in a single block.
Here we go. Rehearsing. Quiet.
It did mean at the start of the schedule we were shooting pretty much every day, which is more like working on a feature film or a TV series that's shot in blocks. Now it was 5 days a week of filming and having to prep what's coming ahead as well.
Camera hole, baby. Oh, yeah. Make it rain.
That's a huge challenge. You're shooting 75 to 80 shoot days.
Set it all up again.
It is shooting like a large-sized feature.
How's that? How's it? Yeah.
Everything from the weapons to the set decor to props to stunt teams that run it all. I think every aspect of the filmmaking on this show is phenomenal.
Seeing the work, seeing the attention to detail, seeing the love that goes into this whole show, I did have a moment where I was like, wow, I really have to up my game on this one.
Very exciting as a filmmaker to create an arc. That was amazing for us.
There's something wonderful in that. Story-wise, character-wise, look-wise, you are able to build on the themes that are established previous seasons and episode 1. It's very exciting to have that responsibility ultimately.